Hi, first grade. We are getting started on your second project today, and we're going to be making a 6-color color wheel. Last year we learned about our primary and secondary colors, and this year you're going to make your own color wheel. So far I have collected some circles from around the house, and I've placed them on my paper, pressed my pencil right up against the edge, and traced around it. So I've done my primary color circles, red, yellow, and blue. I've got one secondary color, and I'm going to finish up with my last two secondary colors. So you can see I'm holding the circle down nice and tight. My pencil is tight against the cup. And I'm going to finish my last one. This one's a bumpier circle. We're going to be making an outer space picture, and we'll make all of these into planets, so our color wheel will look like it's floating in outer space. So I have orange, red and blue make violet, and blue and yellow make green. You're going to use your crayons and markers to color your planets any way you like. I'm going to get started on a couple of mine. As you can see, I've worked on my red planet. I used all the different kinds of red crayons, even pink ones that I could find. So now I'm ready to move on to my blue planet. I want you to be creative. I wanted to make my planet look like a sphere, like a ball, because they're not flat circles. So I started out with a curve going across my planet. I'm going to use a lot of different shades of blue for my color pencils, my crayons, and my markers. By using all of these different materials, I'll get lots of texture. You can decorate your planet any way you want it. So don't just color it blue, don't just take the crayon or the marker that says blue. I want you to work on each planet for several minutes. Take your time, be creative, have fun with it. Make interesting textures and patterns on your planet. Make each planet its own little work of art. We are going to be cutting these out later on. So if you go a little outside the lines, that's okay too. But do try and fill up the planet with the color. Try not to leave white spots. Well, This project will not be due until October 2nd. So if you need to stop and take breaks, or if you really want to take your time on the project and make each planet really awesome, really interesting, you can get out your paints, whatever you want to use. Take your time. You don't have to have this turned in until October 2nd. Alright, I finished up my planets with my green planet. I used all of my green crayons plus my markers over here. So I think this is a good stopping point for today. Go ahead and pick this up during your next art day. Alright, we are going to work on taking our planets and placing them into a color wheel. So you will need your black paper today, you will need scissors, a glue bottle, and maybe a few crayons. So go ahead and take a moment to collect those items. Begin today by cutting out the planets that you made the last time. Take your time and try and cut right on your line. Place them in a pile when you're done so that you don't lose any of them. Well, of course I didn't want to just leave my background black because space is not empty and black. There's all sorts of stars, planets, and I looked at some pictures from the Hubble telescope, and they had these beautiful gas clouds in outer space. So I'm creating those by lightly coloring with my black or my white crayon on the black paper. And I'm trying to kind of color in little loops so I don't leave lines. And you can make it any shape you want. And then I'm taking some of my other light colors, like pinks and orange, yellow, the light green. They all work really good to mix into this too. They show up a little bit on the black paper if you just color them by themselves, but they show up a little bit better if you add some white crayon. And you can kind of go back and forth. You can add some white crayon on top of the color too. Make your background interesting. Use your crayons to put some stars in the background. I linked a video that you can watch that shows some pictures of outer space, so check those out. Okay, working on your background, depending on how much you do, is probably enough for another day. So if you want to stop and finish this on your next art day, that's fine. Remember, it's not due until October 2nd. If you are ready to move on, I'm going to place my planets on here. I'm going to start with my primary colors. I want to make sure that I put them into a triangle. So I have red, yellow, and blue. And you can put them in any order you want. It doesn't matter because it's a color wheel as long as you start with your primary colors. Now when I place my other planets in here, I need to make sure I look and I have blue and yellow. I know that blue and yellow mix together to make green. So I want to put my green planet in between my blue and yellow. Red and yellow mix together to make orange. So my orange planet's going to go in between red and yellow. The last one I have is violet. Red and blue make violet, so I'm going to place my violet planet between my red and blue. You can move them around, don't glue them down till you have them just the way that you want them. Make sure you still have them in color order. I'm going to be looking for that when I grade your work. When you glue them down, you don't need to have a lot of glue. They're pretty small things. Maybe just a few dots on the back. You can even spread the glue out. Use your imagination and add any details that you want to add. So some details that you could add, I have a little alien in a spaceship here, but you could have a satellite dish, shooting stars, asteroids, whatever you can think of that might be floating in outer space. Make sure you take a picture of your project and turn it in by October 2nd.